Good afternoon. First of all, let me thank the organizer for inviting me. And I have heard many of the guest speakers talking on various aspects of water management. I will not be talking about the industrial aspects or the promotion of technological aspects, although we keep on working from TERI in promoting technologies which help in addressing the drinking water issue when the water is contaminated and the groundwater is not feasible to drink. I will be talking a situation which is a little away from the field, but the overall aspects of the water management in India. Water is essential for sustenance of life in all forms. I think all of us have heard it. It is an essential prerequisite for sanitation and hygiene, an integral part of the ecological system. Water is a basic requirement for livelihoods. And as we have heard that the 70% of water of our body exists. It is a necessary input for economic activities that we have been hearing, agriculture, industries, commerce, etc., etc. It is a means of transportation, no doubt, and a means of recreation with great aesthetic values, and an inseparable part of people's history and culture. So the water resources, what we see today, it is available, as some report says, to the tune of 1123 billion cubic meter, whereas the surface water is 697 billion cubic meter and the remaining are the groundwater. And as discussed in the last session, that the storage capacity of dam for storing the water is about 258 billion cubic meter, and such a small storage capacity overall, this leads to over extraction of groundwater. As you know that in Punjab, earlier the surface water used for agricultural activities, but with green revolution, it is mostly dependent on the groundwater. The per capita water availability is already touched the water stress situation in India, and in the coming years, it will touch the water scarcity condition. By 2050, that is expected in many reports. Water quality is unsatisfactory. Water contamination is very high. Almost every day we are getting report that some states this problem is there, some states are facing this problem, how to resolve. So we need some solution for that. As I said that the Niti Aayog report 2019 says that by 2050 the water demand will be more than twice the water supply. So the question is, how will you meet the demand? So the water resources are finite. There is a need to increase water use efficiency. As you know that almost 80% water is used in agriculture, but the agricultural water use efficiency is one of the lowest compared to the international standard. And if you are able to improve the water use efficiency in agriculture, you can use that water, excess saving water, with other sectors, no doubt. There is a need to understand many couple of things which I will just state now. Water is a renewable but finite resource. There is an interconnection throughout the water cycle. Water is shared. It is a common pool resource which often we forget. we feel that the water, the groundwater is my water. Whatever extract I do, it is more important. We don't consider water as a common pool resource. There is a need to move from one size fits all command and control approach. Till now, for many years, since inception, the water is a demand supply driven approach, which is a command and control approach. There is a need for local specific strategies reflecting agroecological and socio-cultural diversity of India. So there is a need for a change from this approach to a different kind of approach. There is a need to bridge the silos into which water has been divided. Water sector we consider silos characteristic. To reflect the deep interconnections and interdependence of different elements of water cycles across multiple uses and users of water. There is a need to give greater emphasis on demand side of water management to bring down the overall footprint of water. I think the previous speaker has spoken a little bit on the demand side, but the demand side, if you look into agriculture, industry and the domestic, the demand is growing and the water use efficiency is low. So from where you will meet the demand, there is a big question. There is a need to build partnership across all stakeholders, and this conference, this proceedings which is going on is one of in that direction. There is a need to build partnership across the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Government at all levels. I think we have heard the urban side in Gorakhpur example here. Primary producers like farmers, they are the stakeholders. Academia, civil societies, industries. So this conference is one of the best examples of having the stakeholders building partnership. As I said earlier that water sector is considering silos in many areas. What are those silos? Water governance and management have characteristic of three kinds of silos basically. The first one is surface water and groundwater. We consider them as silos. Irrigation and drinking water, we consider them as silos. Water and wastewater, we consider them as silos. How? The first one, surface water, groundwater, government department and centers and the states deal with one side of these binaries. While dealing with water problems, the interconnection between surface water and groundwater is not generally implemented. Take the example of post-monsoon flows of Peninsula River, which derive from base flows of groundwater. Over-extraction of groundwater means that many of our larger rivers are shrinking and many of the smaller rivers have completely dried up. If there is reduction in flow, water quality is also reduced. Next one, drinking water and irrigation. Silos of drinking water and irrigation means that the aquifers providing assured sources of drinking water tend to get depleted and dry up over time. As the same aquifers are used for irrigation, which consumes high volumes of water. This adversely affects the availability of drinking water. And the last one, the water and wastewater. If wastewater and water are dealt with silos, the result generally is a fall in water quality, as wastewater ends up in polluting supplies of water. Further, the responsibility to monitor and ensure water quality is divided over a number of distinct and uncoordinated departments that we have seen in India in many areas, and agencies leading to overall deterioration of water quality. Thus, there is a need for water governance reforms in the center and in the state level very urgently. There should be a central agency. For example, it could be a National Water Commission or any other name you can give. At the central levels, with having various segments of administration. Same agency should have various agencies, various aspects of administration, which is now divided in India. For example, the various segments of that agency should be Water Security Division, Irrigation Reform Division to meet the goal Har Khet Ka Pani, Participatory Groundwater Management, River Rejuvenation Division to meet goals of Abiral Dhara, Nirmal Dhara, Shach Kinara. Then the Water Quality Division, Water Use Efficiency Division, Urban and Industrial Water Division, Data Division, Capacity Building Division, etc. Now these are all segregated and different agencies are managing. So my idea is that the reforming the management in water sector is a must, and it should happen as early as possible. Only then, because water, although it is a state subject, you need some kind of a mechanism at the central level and also at the state level. If you look at the water, is such a vast subject and so many beneficiaries are there, you need a certain reforms as early as possible. Thank you very much.